Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a life update of what it's been like living in LA for the last 6 months. If you're new here, my name is BME Queen and I'm gonna need you to go back a few videos to see what I was talking about when I first moved to LA. But this video is gonna be an update of career, mental health, physical health, dating, all of it. So I am gonna be doing this face to get ready for just my average day at work. I moved to LA 6 months ago from Delaware, but I'm originally from New Jersey. I have always wanted to live here since I was young, but I switched careers at the same time of moving from engineering to influencing. So I never expected that I would become an influencer. Like, I literally thought I would be an engineer my entire life. So the fact that I'm an influencer and live in LA was a really great mix for me. And I originally switched careers because I was unhappy at my lab job when I was in graduate school. I just didn't like what I was doing every single day. Like, the only thing I was really excited about was creating content, and it just so happened that I became a full-time content creator. Like, this was not at all planned. I didn't set out to be a TikToker, it just happened. I knew I was gonna move to LA before I knew I was going to be an influencer. So it's actually kind of backwards for me compared to most people who are influencers, are full-time and then make the move to LA. So that's been really different for me. But also, after working for myself and brands and traveling and doing all of the things, I guess I've come to realize that a lot of people don't see work the way that I see it. Because I've already gone through this career change and kind of changed my mindset from engineering to working for myself and for making videos and being creative, I have come to the realization that my career, whatever it may be at that time, is not the end all be all. I have proven to myself that I can switch from one career to the next. For me, influencing is something that I'm doing right now, but I also know that I could transition to another career at a later point in time. However, whenever I meet other influencers that are also full-time and, you know, are making their own content, working with brands, doing the same things that I'm doing, I've noticed that they have a different mindset where it's like, this is it, you know, like they have to work with X brand, or they have to, you know, get a specific campaign, or like they want to do a certain brand trip or whatever. It's not that working with a certain brand like doesn't mean anything to me, but I also do recognize this like as a job. People that work in corporate or work a 9 to 5 or whatever you may do outside of this type of public career have been coming to those same conclusions, that this is a job, you know, it pays my bills and we all got bills. So I'm gonna continue to do this job so that, you know, I am continue to live how I do. I don't think a lot of influencers really see it as that. And I also think that the city of LA itself is known for being a land of the haves and the have-nots. So people like really feed into working with certain brands or being at a certain status or having a certain amount of luxury or whatever it may be. So I kind of just approach my career very differently than most people, or that's at least what I have noticed. I also have had the experience of meeting influencers that I've been following and have really enjoyed, you know, for a long time, some even like a few years. And you know how they say don't meet your heroes? I have done that and have been disappointed. I'm using Lancome Tint Idol Wear, and I also got a new brush from e.l.f. This is the Ultimate Blending Brush. I'm gonna try to use it as a foundation brush. Their brushes are really soft, so I really do like this. And I also did use this Rare Beauty primer. This is the illuminating primer, which is kind of like a glowy type of look. So that's what we're doing today. So I had the experience of interacting with a few people that I followed and looked up to. And I think I, like most people, have held my heroes to a higher standard, like put them on this pedestal of like, they're someone I look up to, they're someone that I'm inspired by, they either do great work or they have a great message, and you know, etc., etc. And that can still be true and still probably is, but I also think I expected more of them. But everybody is a human, and I've come to realize that no matter what status someone holds or who they are or who their name is, that we are all just people. It's kind of like the moment you realize that your parents are just people and that they make mistakes and have insecurities and like aren't perfect people. Like that is the worst realization, and like actually broke my heart when I realized that. When it's your hero or someone that you know you looked up to for a while, it just hits different. In some ways I feel like naive for expecting them to be different than the average person, but at the same time it also just like puts things into perspective for me of like they have achieved X, X, and X, so, and with just being a regular person, so it's also possible for me to do the same. It's such a different way of looking at it, I know, but initially when I did meet my heroes and was disappointed, I was like really upset about it. Like, wow, like, you know, why would you say something like that, or why would you do something like that? And it wasn't just like one particular person, it was actually a few people. So I guess this theory holds true for multiple people. And I also don't think it has anything to do with LA, although there are a lot of stars and like Hollywood people who do live here. I just so happen to be in the environment, but like you could be in the middle of, I don't know, Idaho and meet your hero. So I don't really think the location itself actually matters. Another thing that I have realized, at least in this area, about being in an influencer position is that it becomes more difficult to separate the real people from the fake people. Like the people that have genuine intentions and are authentic and want the best for you genuinely, versus the people who want to use your name and personality and status to achieve whatever they want to achieve. That has become more difficult since I have been here and have been growing like online. And I have spoken to other influencers that have also experienced the same thing, where people that they either didn't talk to all of a sudden want to talk to them now and want to be friends with them and want to do, you know, XYZ with them and invite them different places, or people who are completely new but have seen them online before and know like their status and like want to get something out of them essentially. So I got this cream contour palette from e.l.f. and CVS, so I'm gonna try it out today. But overall, I just value my authentic and genuine friendships even more than I already did. So I have friends from home that I talk to still regularly, and I actually got to visit a friend in San Diego. So if you haven't seen that video, you should go check it out. Why is this not opening? I think I'm gonna go in with this shade. How do I put this on my face? Should I use another tool? I can actually count on one hand like how many people that I have met here that I genuinely do trust and like to spend time with and hang out with. And what surprised me the most about who that I or would call a friend here in LA is that they're just so different from me. I can get along with a lot of different type of people, but here I've met people that just have such different backgrounds and careers and life paths, but we still have very similar values and morals and behave in a way that just aligns together. It's really cool that I can make friends with people that are just so different from me, but also relates them in a way that they understand. Like I said though, I can count these people on one hand. Otherwise, I consider other people to be coworkers. At any given job, like you don't like every single person you work with for the most part. So I kind of had that same expectation of, you know, if we work together, we work together, and that's it. Mentally, I just feel so completely different than when I was in graduate school and when I was an engineer. So for one thing, it is almost always sunny here, so that definitely helps. But I don't really feel the same pressures that I used to feel when I was in graduate school. I'm not saying I don't feel any pressure, because I do feel a lot of pressure in different ways, but it's just not the same as it was when I was working for someone else. In graduate school, I just felt so powerless over my situation that like I couldn't make things happen, or that I couldn't, you know, graduate at a certain time, or that I couldn't, like, I don't know, achieve a certain experiment. It really did get to me mentally, and I also didn't really have the emotional support from my boss. So it was not a good situation for me to work in. I felt like I was going crazy when I was working in a lab, even though I knew I wasn't. But it did help me feel a little bit better knowing that other people that I worked with also felt like they were also going crazy, and that I wasn't alone in that. I started going to therapy when I was in graduate school, and still use a lot of the like tactics and strategies that I learned in therapy today, now that I don't work in a lab. But I will say the pressure of working for yourself is just very different, where you support yourself. You have to go out and get the opportunities for yourself, make life happen for you. But one of the things that did come in handy most recently with working on a certain project was being able to advocate for myself and in a professional manner. I think a lot of people expect either new people to the industry or younger people in general to not be able to advocate for themselves and to just like take whatever they are given because they're new. Whereas I am very well aware of what I should and shouldn't be doing and what is expected of me when I sign a contract. So when I advocate for myself, I am very straightforward and to the point, but I'm also professional and like don't take things personally. That skill has definitely come in handy for the last few months, and I think it honestly surprises people that I do advocate for myself and am well spoken and articulated about it. And because I'm young, I'm new, and also influencing is just a very new industry in itself. Like, the internet came out in like the 90s, and you know, the fact that people make money off of it and have been consistently for so many years is just so brand new in general. And anytime there's a new platform that comes out and people start making money from that platform, there are new rules and pretty much growing pains that the industry has to go through. And that's what influencing is right now, especially with TikTok. I will say one of the mental strifes that I did not expect before I moved here and started, you know, working full time for myself is that I just have such up and down days where the phone could be, and by phone I mean my email inbox could be like completely and totally full, and then there are other times where it is just like tumbleweed in the middle of the Midwest. Like, it fluctuates and ebbs and flows, and no one really tells you that when you start this. And even though I've been doing it for a few years, I'm still getting used to the different seasons, if you will. Also, moving while influencing does impact your career depending on where you move to and where you move from. I didn't announce that I was moving to anyone, so I just like popped up in another place and I'm like, I live here now. So any people that I was working with in Philly just weren't expecting that, right? So any Philly campaigns that I had just like immediately ended. And then it was hard for me to pick up LA campaigns because they had already got influencers that they knew were already living here. There was like a weird time where I was like, I don't live in Philly anymore, even though I have a ton of Philly contacts, but I'm still trying to like connect with people in LA. Honestly, I don't think I would have changed the way I did it because I needed that initial time to just adjust to the city, and I still am adjusting. Like, living here is just very different than anything that I have been used to before. I've actually spoken to friends about what would happen if I wanted to move back, and to be quite honest, moving across the country is a pain in the ass, and I don't want to do that again. So I would just stick it out, you know, and figure it out. I know I am very resilient, and I know that I can figure things out when it comes down to it, and it just may be taking me longer here than, you know, if I had moved anywhere else. Being settled in one place in terms of like where you are based as a travel influencer is very important for getting future campaigns and for working with people in the future. So I don't see myself moving back anytime soon. People have recommended that to me. I think overall I've just been going through a ton of growing pains all at the same time. Like, most people don't switch their careers and move to a brand new place and have to make new friends all at the same time, you know? So the fact that I did all of those within a matter of a month or two is actually crazy. And what has been like the biggest transition is transitioning all those things at the same time. I also have started dating again, which I really did not date in graduate school. I think I went on like 4 dates when I first started graduate school, like my first year pre-pandemic. Once I got into the nitty-gritty of graduate school, I just totally disregarded all dating, like all scenes. That I just wasn't even interested at all in seeing anybody. But now that I live in a new city, I was like, why not try it? Well, dating is a lot like trying to make friends, and making friends is a lot like dating. So balancing the two at the same time has been really difficult. When you have a group of girlfriends, you can just like go and talk to them about whatever's going on in your dating life, in your work life, in whatever part of your life. But when you don't have those friends, you don't have anyone to really like fall back on. And then when you're already in a steady relationship and you're trying to make new friends, you have that relationship to fall back on as well. So because I don't have either of those things, it has proven to be a tad bit difficult. I actually at some point got extremely overwhelmed with doing both of them and completely just stopped doing both of them. So now I'm not dating, and now I'm not trying to make any friends, or at least I'm just less eager to reach out to people like I was before. Although when people do ask to meet up with me, like I will hang out and, you know, give it a chance, but I just don't have the same like drive that I did a few months ago, which is completely expected. Like you just get burnt out sometimes. I will say the great thing about dating in a big city is that there is so much to do. Like it's actually overwhelming how many options there are. Real quick, I use the Danessa Myricks Beauty blush in the shade Bellini. I put on some Fenty highlighter. This is in the shade Moscow Mule and Ginger Binge. I'm about to put on my lashes from Ardell. These are the natural lashes. I love a natural look, so I'm not gonna do anything crazy. My eyelashes all fell out and I have an appointment in a few days, but for today we're gonna put on the falsies. And then I'm gonna use this long wear lash glue that came in my Ardell kit. This stuff is insanely strong. It could withstand a hurricane. So like I said, dating in a big city is really fun. But in LA specifically, there is just so much. Like you have the mountains, and then you have the beach, and then you have, you know, the city. So it's so nice where like you can really get a taste of every part of the city on dates. Like there's restaurants everywhere, and there's so many restaurants that honestly I could try one restaurant per day and not hit half of them by the end of the year. I was my lash glue on my hand, and then I rubbed the lash through it, and that's how I'm able to put it on. So going out on dates has been a nice way to just experience new restaurants and also experience new parts of the city. Like I looked at the price of gas one day and it was $7 per gallon. So I was like, oh, you know, I'm gonna just sit in the house. Like that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stay in my, you know, immediate neighborhood. It'll be fine. Like there's plenty to do here. The only time I really have left since I recognized the gas prices was when I would go to influencer events or when I would go on dates. I am not really eager to date anymore, and I'm also not really eager to make a lot of friends either. And by eager, I mean like I'm not actively searching for it. I'm just letting it come to me, right? So like I'm open to it, but I'm not actively searching for it is what I should say. The thing is, I know what I'm looking for in a friendship, and I also know what I'm looking for in a relationship, and I think the two can overlap very well. Like I think that's very possible. When I do meet new people, whether they be friends or like people that I'm, you know, going on dates with, like I know what I'm looking for. And I think there's a lot of people that just get so lonely that they'll take anything, you know, they'll like date anybody or they'll hang out with anyone just to say that they have someone. And I don't do that, and I think that's why it's also been pretty hard for me to like genuinely connect and like have a core group of people that I hang out with. Like I'm not gonna just call you my friend for the sake of having friends, you know. Like I really do want to make sure that everyone I hang out with has the same morals and values and beliefs that I do, and that we can, you know, agree on those things. And you'd be surprised, like a lot of people don't think that way, and that's totally okay, but that's just not going to be me. So I guess what I've been trying to say this entire video is that I've just been going through a lot of growing pains since moving. It doesn't necessarily look like that online because I am pretty good at what I do, and I don't think people really want to hear me vent or even try to relate to what I've been going through, but maybe somebody on YouTube actually cares. I think moving across the country, or just moving in general, away from people that you know and away from like a life that you knew, is going to force you to grow and step out of your comfort zone and to do things that you normally wouldn't do. And with that comes the growing pains. Like it isn't easy, and I didn't expect it to be easy, although I didn't expect it to be this hard, but I'm still here. I'm still making it. I'm still pushing through. There have been a lot of wins that I am really proud of and really happy about. But at the same time, I don't really let the material things get the best of me. I don't try to let it I try not to let it get to my head because again, I could change careers at any point in time again. Like life has just been lifing and it's going to continue to life, I'm assuming. So let me know if you guys like these story time / life update videos. And I do read the comments, so I definitely be able to see it. But I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.